In our vision of a good society or a good rural society, that is Gram Swaraj, one of the most important ingredients is a good Gram Sabha. So today I am going to talk about 10 things which need to happen in order to have a good Gram Sabha. But before I go to those 10 criteria of a good Gram Sabha, I would like to make two clarifications. When we talk about a gram, we are actually talking about a small community of 20 to 70 families. If it is more than that, then the kind of vibrant participatory democracy which we are talking about becomes more and more difficult. Now, if we look at the 2011 census, which is the latest census we have, we find that out of about 600,000 villages of India, almost 100,000 villages, that is 1 lakh villages, have less than 100 households. So these villages are most likely forest villages or in the hills, and also most likely they are inhabited mostly by Adivasis. So as far as we are concerned today, we have a bias towards these Adivasi villages. Now we can have these Gram Sabha in larger villages also, but then we will have to talk about para level or hamlet level Gram Sabhas. The second consideration is that today in India there is a lot of effort to activate the Gram Sabhas linked to the panchayats, the constitutionally mandated Gram Sabha. But we are not going to talk about those Gram Sabhas today. Today we are going to talk about people's assemblies, their own Gram Sabhas, irrespective of what the state or the center or the constitution is saying. Okay. Now I'll come to these 10 criteria of a good Gram Sabha, the type of Gram Sabha that we are talking about. Number one, all adults of the village must attend the Gram Sabha. Now this is very important because in the panchayat mandated Gram Sabha, in the constitution itself it says that if 15% of the voters attend, then it is considered a valid Gram Sabha. But for us, 15% or 50% or 70% is not going to work. For us, it is 100% adults should attend the Gram Sabha. The second point is that even in Adivasi villages where they have some kind of people's assembly and it is called by different names, even there we find in most cases when there are such assemblies, only men come, very few women come. That is not going to work for our Gram Sabhas. When we are saying a good Gram Sabha, then all adults, all women and men must attend that Gram Sabha. The second criteria of a good Gram Sabha is that whenever there are such local people's assembly, adolescents are not invited, nor do they come. So for us, it's very important that above 12 adolescents also attend this meeting and they can play a very big role, and also it will be excellent practical education for them. Their political education starts in this Gram Sabha. So if adolescents above the age of 12 can come, it will be wonderful. The third criteria is that this Gram Sabha should be held regularly, at least once a month, and if necessary, more than once a month. Now, this is important because today, even in most Adivasi villages where there are such people's assemblies, we find that they meet sporadically. If there is a festival coming up, then they meet to plan about that festival. If there is a marriage, they meet to plan. And if they are in trouble, like now today in many Adivasi villages of India, both the state and the corporations are trying to take away their land. So then they have emergency Gram Sabhas. But we are talking about regular Gram Sabha, not just emergency Gram Sabha. And here I often like to quote a Kabir Doha, those two-line poems by this saint in 15th century Northern Indian saint called Kabir Das, who said that दुख में सुमरिन सब करे सुख में करे न कोई जो सुख में सुमरिन करे तो दुख काहे को होई, which translated into English means that when there is sadness, everyone remembers God when there is a crisis. But in terms of peace and happiness, no one remembers God. But if you remembered God, even in the time of peace and happiness, why should there be sadness? So we can almost replace God by Gram Sabha. You should not have Gram Sabha only when there is a crisis. It should be a regular Gram Sabha, and we'll come to what all the Gram Sabha will discuss. The fourth point is that even in Adivasi villages where there are such people's assemblies, we find that the village chief or the Mukhya, he is the person who chairs this meeting. And if there is controversy, if there is discussion, debate, the Mukhya has the last word. For us, this is not going to work. In our case, we are saying that there should be a rotating chairperson of the Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha chairperson should be replaced quite often, and ultimately all men and women from all families should get a chance to chair this meeting. So for us, power should not get concentrated on just one or a few people. Power should be distributed as evenly as possible. Okay. Now, what will the Gram Sabha do? The fifth point is that all major decisions about the life of a village will be taken in this Gram Sabha. So, be it livelihoods, be it Jal, Jangal, Jameen, issues of land, forest and water, education, health, disputes, government programs, whatever, all these things will be discussed in the Gram Sabha. So Gram Sabha is the main decision-making body of the village. These decisions will not be taken outside the Gram Sabha. The sixth point is that when we have so many people coming together, obviously there are going to be differences of opinion. There are going to be diversity of thoughts and opinions. There are going to be quarrels. There are going to be fights, which is fine, which is as it should be. But when decision is being taken, when finally something is decided, it should be consensual. That means it should be a unanimous decision. Or in other words, there should be no vote. Now this is quite tough. So it is about developing this habit of listening to others, of deliberating, the habit of give and take, that I might not fully agree with you, but I go along with the decision today. And tomorrow you will do the same to me. So this is very important day-to-day democracy which people have to develop. Now, the Gram Sabha is deliberating on all life and livelihood issues of the village. They are taking decisions, they are making plans, but who will implement them? So the Gram Sabha will form subject-wise committees for implementation. So it could be agriculture, animal husbandry, it could be education, health, government schemes, disaster, accounts, and so on and so forth. So the Gram Sabha will figure out what are their needs, what do they need to do, and they will form these temporary committees. The good thing is that almost all adults of the village can be part of one or two committees. So in a sense, the whole village together is the government. They are doing all the tasks necessary for running the village. Now, often the villagers will need to discuss and take decisions on subjects and issues about which they don't know much. They don't have a good understanding of that. Then the Gram Sabha will constitute what we call a study circle. So they will ask for volunteers who have interest in that particular issue and who have time, because in a Gram Sabha meeting with so many people and with 2 or 3 hours, you cannot go deep into unknown issues or subjects about which you do not know much. It almost has to be a course, a class. And often it is seen that the expertise is not available within the village. So you have to bring in external resource person and the group of volunteers who have agreed to learn. They will negotiate with that external resource persons about timing, about when the classes will be held, what days of the week, and so on and so forth. And then the study circle will start. But when it comes to making the decision on that particular issue, the study circle is not going to make that decision. The study circle, after understanding the issue, will give a small presentation to the Gram Sabha about its pros and cons, about what all can be done. And it is the Gram Sabha which will take the decision. Now, the ninth point is that, as we started saying, that we have a dream of a good society. What is this good society? What, on the basis of that good society, what are the things that we will do? What are the things which we will not do? This is something which the Gram Sabha has to deliberate. And this is not a one-time thing. In some senses, one can say that Gram Sabha will discuss and deliberate on what is a good society almost on a continuous basis. It will go on and on and on, and it is not going to be an easy thing. Finally, in the Gram Sabha, serious discussions are going to take place, debates are going to take place, planning is going to be done, and so on and so forth. But the Gram Sabha should not be a dry event. In Adivasi society especially, there is a lot of singing and dancing, and that should be brought into the Gram Sabha. They should be singing and dancing and other performing arts, and here the adolescents of the village can play an interesting role, because no culture is stagnant. New things will come in, and they will bring in that new things about performing arts. And on top of this, if Gram Sabha can also be a community feast, so that everyone can come together and contribute and eat, then the Gram Sabha will become a really vibrant Gram Sabha. So, let me summarize these 10 points once more. First point is that all adults, women and men, will participate in Gram Sabha. Number 2, adolescents above the age of 12 will participate in Gram Sabha. Number 3, the Gram Sabha has to be held regularly, at least once a month, if necessary more than once a month. Number 4, the chairperson should not be the traditional mukhya or village chief. The mukhyas also have to understand that in today's world, it is not possible for them to always have the last word. So the chairperson has to be a rotating chairperson. Number 5, the Gram Sabha will take all major life and livelihood decisions of the village. Those decisions will not be taken outside the Gram Sabha. Number 6, decisions will be taken consensually, unanimously. There's not going to be any vote. Number 7, Gram Sabha is going to make subject-wise implementing committees, let's say for a year, and then they will change. Number 8, there are going to be study circles in order to learn important issues and things which the villagers do not know. Number 9, the Gram Sabha will have continuing deliberations on what is a good society, on the basis of which we will decide what to do and what not to do. And finally, there's going to be singing, dancing, and food, and that will make the Gram Sabha a really fun place to be. Now, before ending, I want to say one word about our conception of humans, we believe that all humans are capable of uh, thinking about their own wellness, about the wellness of their family, about the wellness of their village, about the wellness of their locality. For this, they don't have to depend upon some super leader, whether at a panchayat level, at a district level, at a state level, or the central level. In our vision of a good society, there is no place for these super leaders or super bureaucrats who have all the answers. Every person is capable of deliberating, and that is where this vibrant Gram Sabha becomes so important.